Well, hello there, friends. We are talking about how difficult it is sometimes to lose belly fat as we get older. Okay, how difficult it is to lose weight, but specifically around the middle for us ladies. Okay, this is a common complaint that I hear about all the time. Actually, just today, a friend of mine was saying, "Yeah, I work out all the time, and I still have this around the middle." Okay, so we started talking about this on Tuesday. So we talked a little bit about kind of like what the hormone situation is going on in your body. Today, I'm referring to a podcast I listened to, or a video, actually, it was from a Dr. Estima. And she recommends basically eating differently for each week of your cycle. And if you're in menopause, you still kind of cycle of sorts, so you can still follow a weekly pattern. And she also talks about working out differently based on the week of your cycle. And we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. So today, let's focus on recommendations for what to eat and how to eat during your whole month, your cycle. Okay. So if you consider the first week of your cycle, if you're still getting your period, is the week of your period. Okay, so your period starts and it runs for, I don't know, for some people, a week. Let's just say it runs a whole week. If it's 4 days, if it's 5 days, just consider that whole week, week one. Okay, so for week one, your progesterone levels are low, and you're shedding your endometrium. Okay, you're having your period. So, as nutrition goes, your body can actually tolerate different things at this time. So, it can tolerate things like intermittent fasting or nutrient restriction much better during this week than any other week during the cycle, especially compared to the next week when you're leading up to ovulation. So, this is the time that you want to test out different things to see what works for you. So, you can test out for you keto, or maybe not full out keto, but high fat and moderate protein, for example, um, and low carbs. Okay, your body is more resilient at this time, so it tolerates all these different things, and this may be a really good time to try that out for you. So, what she says, remember, carbs, I don't mean full out grains, and I don't mean candy, Haagen-Dazs, and potato chips. Okay, I mean, and not rice and potatoes and bread. I used to eat those things all the time, but as we get into perimenopause and menopause, you need proteins for lean body mass. So you need to shift your calories in a different way. So your carbs or your veggies. Okay, so when you think about this, I'm not saying you're never going to eat anything bad or you're never going to eat a snack, but that is going to be kind of separate from your diet, overall diet. So what she recommends now, be understanding, um, in terms of calories, not volume of food. The first week, she says you should be eating 70% of your calories coming from fat. That sounds like a lot, okay? But we're talking seeds, nuts, um, nut butters, avocado, even dressing like olive oil on your food, on steamed vegetables or something, that counts. Calories, fat calories are much more dense than protein or carbs. So it doesn't take as much to get to that 70%. It's very surprising. You'll see how fast you get there. So 70% that week should be fat. 20% should be from lean protein. So meat, fish, chicken, but obviously lean. Okay, and 10% coming from carbs, but veggies, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, bok choy, cauliflower, kale, collards, Swiss chard, the really good group of veggies. Now, so basically take your plate, cover it with all these greens, protein the size of your palm. Okay, so if half a fillet, I don't know how big a half a fillet is, but I know how big my hand is. So you can get this size amount of um, protein, and then fill the rest obviously with the caloric dense fat. So sprinkle some sunflower seeds or almonds on your food, some olive oil if you like vinegar, or, like make it a nice dressing if you want, and maybe half an avocado. I mean, like really, really good filling meal. In your second week, the week that the follicle is developing and estrogen levels are rising to their peak and testosterone is peaking, um, you're feeling a little more flirty and chatty and extroverted. But as far as nutrition goes, when your hormones are high, these are growth like hormones when your body needs to grow your muscles, if you want to think of it that way. So, two ways, of course, to grow muscles is to diet and eat more protein and go to the gym. So, we're going to talk about the gym part next week. But in terms of diet, in week 2, you want to increase your protein. So, you lower your fat from 70% to 40% in week 2, and you increase your protein from 20% up to 40%. So instead of 70-40-10, you're now going to be 40-40-20. Okay, and 20 is the carbs. So by increasing the protein, you're actually driving muscle protein synthesis, which is critical in perimenopause. Now, menopausal women would repeat week 2, which is this week, in week 4 to replace what I'm going to explain to other people, the perimenopausal people. So, more lean muscle allows for better glucose control. This is like a glucose sponge, your muscles. So it provides for metabolic control and it pulls that glucose out of your blood, preventing insulin resistance, okay, which worsens hormones all around. Okay, so since muscles utilize glucose and become that place to use it up, you want to build muscle. So week 1, week 2, in week 3, you're going to basically repeat week 1. And in week 4, because your body needs those, I told you on Tuesday, more glucose and more amino acids and more free fatty acids, you have an increased caloric requirement in week 4, the week before your period, by 10 to 15%. That, again, does not mean eating a container of Haagen-Dazs or a bag of potato chips. It means increasing your caloric intake by about that amount with life-giving foods, whether it be more carbs or more protein or whatever, but increase that. It will lower your cravings and lower your symptoms coming up to the week of your period. Again, if you are in menopause, instead of increasing that caloric requirement, you're going to just repeat week 2. So perimenopause is week 1, 2. Week 3 is the same as 1. And in week 4, you repeat the same as week 2, but increasing the number of calories by 10 to 15%. Okay, I'll put it in the comments. And in menopause, you just repeat week 4 without the extra calories. So good stuff. Try it out, see how you feel, and we're going to talk next week about what you do for exercise. So hope you guys are having an awesome day. Hope you're finding this helpful, and I will see you again next week for another Live in 5.